This is the most valuable YouTube training for business owners that you'll ever watch. And for context, I have generated over $12.5 million directly attributed to my small YouTube channel. And for this video, I've analyzed over 1,400 YouTube videos, 400 of mine, as well as 1,000 of my clients' videos in order to figure out what's working and what's not in order to generate money from your YouTube. Now, let me get this out of the way. The number one reason why I see business owners failing on YouTube is because they're optimizing for the wrong outcome. You see, a lot of times when I'm speaking to some of my clients when they first come to us, they say, I'm posting a lot on YouTube, but I'm not making any money from it. And this is a problem because what happens when you do something a lot, you don't get the thing out of it that you want to, you eventually quit. And so I've really found three main mistakes that business owners are making when they first get started on YouTube. Number one, they're making content that entertains instead of content that builds trust with buyers. Number two, they're optimizing for views and subscribers instead of qualified book calls. And number three, they're skipping the 4 steps that actually move someone from a viewer to a client. And just for context, Alex Ramosi recently came out with a video where he said that his smaller YouTube channel, the one that has, I think, like 50,000 subscribers and every video gets 1,000 to maybe 10,000 views, makes more money than his huge YouTube channel where he has millions of subscribers and videos with millions of views. So that should tell you right then and there, if you don't believe everything I'm going to talk about in this presentation, that it actually just having more views doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more clients out of it. And so here's what that looks like in actual practice. How do we solve this so that you're making a channel that generates clients? Well, I have seen that there's really 2 types of YouTube channels. One is the one that's really great at building an audience, and the other is one that's really great at building clients or generating clients. And to be clear, a lot of people will be like, they'll scoff at this and they'll say, oh, well, if you build a big audience, then I'm going to be able to generate clients from it. Because that's what every big social media guru says. Oh, build a huge audience and a certain percentage of them will turn into clients for you. And I'm here to tell you that that's just simply not the case. I even have very, very close friends of mine that have millions, 5 million, 6 million subscribers and followers, and they don't make that much money every single month. And they're dependent on brand deals all the time in order to keep their income coming in. Where I know other people, such as myself and some of our clients, who literally get a couple of thousand views per video, and yet they're making millions of dollars per year from their YouTube channel. So there's really 2 types of business owners. The one is the entrepreneur. So this is the person that posts educational content that solves specific problems that their ICA has right now. So ICA is Ideal Client Avatar. They build trust with people who already have problems and have money. So they have a smaller audience and dramatically higher revenue. This is who I'm trying to convince you to be today. Now, the other one, this is what everybody else is trying to convince you to do, and this is what your ego wants you to be. This is the content creator. This is the lifestyle content. This is the cars, the house, the I made this much money videos. So you build a following with people who want to be you, not necessarily people who want to hire you. And sure, your channel will grow, but at the same time, you're going to make almost no money. And another example of this is I have a good friend of mine. I'm not going to say him by name, but he's very, very famous in the social media marketing space. And he has a huge following, millions of subscribers. And whenever I was talking to him in person one time, he said, I'm about to launch a YouTube video that's exactly like yours. Because although I have hundreds of thousands of views on my YouTube videos, the vast majority of them are kids under the age of 18 or they're living in India and they have no money, right? So those are examples of people that want to be this person, not necessarily people that want to buy from this person. So really, we want you to become the entrepreneur, okay? And just to give you examples here, the content creator can have 100,000 subscribers and get 2 booked calls a month. The entrepreneur can have 1,200 subscribers and get 20 booked calls a month. So the goal is not to be admired. The goal is to be hired. Okay, so every video you post is a choice. Are you creating for the people who want to look like you or for the people that want to pay you? So let's now talk about the actual system that turns your YouTube channel into a client generating machine. So number one, you're going to have something we call the content prism. So you know exactly what topics to create and who's going to reach when you create it. Number two is going to be packaging is greater than value. The title and thumbnail formula is going to be the thing that makes people click and watch your video. Number three is going to be strategic video types. There's browse, suggested, and search, and when to use each of them. And number four is going to be the no pitch pitch. How do you convert viewers into booked calls without a hard sell and losing equity with your audience? So before we dive in, I just want to cover this really quickly. If you want me and my team to audit your entire marketing and sales system for free, you can actually go down below and apply for a revenue system diagnostic where we're going to look at all of your numbers and tell you what we think the biggest problem is, and then if it makes sense, how we would solve it if we ended up working together, okay? That being said, stay with me and I'm going to answer the questions you have in this video. So let's start with step one, the content prism. Most business owners don't have a posting problem, they have a topic problem. So this fixes it. So the real problem is not that you need better content, it's that you're building your content in the wrong order. This is what I see most people doing, right? You have what I call the blind leading the blind. So most business owners will look at what competitors or similar creators are making. They'll copy those videos because they see that their competitors are getting a lot of views, and you hope that results will follow. The problem is you're optimizing for what gets views for someone else, not what generates clients for you. So wrong input, wrong output. I can't stress this enough. Just because somebody is making these videos and they're getting a lot of views from it does not mean that they're getting a lot of clients from it, okay? I can't stress that enough. It's free to make a video. So just because people are making them, don't think that, oh, this must be getting them a lot of clients. So we don't want to be modeling what's working in that sense. Number two, the other failure I see people do is they're optimizing for views instead of clients, in the sense that, oh, well, this topic's doing well on YouTube in general, right? So they see, I don't know, the 58 seconds that'll change your life about this certain topic. So they see this, it's not their competitor, it's just a video that's doing well on YouTube. And they think, oh, well, let me make it, I'll make my version of it and it'll get me a lot of clients. But high converting creators do the opposite. They start with what already is generating clients from them that they pull from their sales calls or direct messages or applications, and they package those topics to maximize views, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. And then they create the content. So ironically enough, what the right creators do, the entrepreneurs do, is they actually shoot the video absolutely last. They do all of the research beforehand to figure out, how do I make something that's going to actually generate clients? And then they actually film the content itself, okay? So the content prism fixes failure one and packaging fixes failure two. Together, they turn YouTube into a predictable lead source instead of a guessing game. So let me show you what the content prism actually looks like. I think every business owner should roughly have about 4 buckets when they're creating content for their business. Number one is going to be before problems. So what is your ideal client avatar struggling with right now before they find a solution? So in fitness, it could be, why can't I lose weight no matter what I try? Agencies could be, why are my ads not converting? This is going to be a really, really wide reach because you're essentially attacking what's known as problem-aware people. So these people have the problem that you solve. So if you talk about that problem, you should attract those people. Number two is during problems. So what challenges come up as soon as someone starts working towards the goal? So fitness is, I'm working out, but progress is stalled. Agency could be, I'm getting leads, but they're not closing. These signal expertise. So for example, let's say that you help somebody, you're an ads agency and you help roofers generate leads for, their roofing company. Well, what could happen is you could create a video that says something like, here's 5 things you need to know when working with a roofer. And so they might not be at the stage of working with a roofer yet, but they might be thinking of hiring somebody. So they watch that video, and instead of working with that one person, because you were so knowledgeable, they end up coming and working with you. So that's an example of like a during problem. And then shared struggles. So what did you face that your ideal client avatar faces right now? So most of our clients do $30,000 to $100,000 a month when they first come to us. And so I still remember what that feels like. And because of that, I can essentially create content that serves my former self. So these are shared struggles that build really deep trust. And then finally, it's credibility proof. So these are the ones that you're going to know about, but what results, data, or achievements prove you deliver the transformation? So these are client wins, revenue milestones, behind the scenes breakdowns. These are case studies, things that let people know, okay, this person has done this over and over again. A great example of this is if you go down below this video, you'll see we have a playlist called the Constraint Call series, where I get on a call with business owners, I identify the biggest constraint, and then I help them solve it right there on the call. So this proves that I know what I'm talking about, and it also shows people that if they did book a call to speak with me and my team, at the very worst case scenario, they'd get an incredibly valuable call where we can identify the biggest bottleneck inside their business. So that is proof that I know what I'm talking about when I say go down below and book a call to speak with us. So a lot of people say, okay, how do I come up with these before problems, during problems, shared struggles, and credibility proof? Well, my always highest recommendation is pull your last 20 sales call recordings and figure out what's coming up all the time, right? The before, during problem. Every time a client said that they were where they were at before they were working with you, that's a shared struggle. And then what you want is like 2 to 4 topics that you're constantly creating content around that your audience resonates with. Okay. So sales call transcripts are always the best way for this content prism to work, because you got to think whatever you're doing right now in your YouTube videos and your ads and your cold emails, you did something that convinced this person to get on a sales call with you where you're making a pitch to them. So these are, in a lot of ways, going to be your ideal people that you want to attract from these YouTube videos. So we want to figure out what are they always talking about, and then we want to put those in our YouTube videos, okay? And that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying backwards to forwards. So what does this look like in practice? So the fitness coach before stuff could be like, why nothing you've ever tried has worked to lose weight. During would be what to do when progress stalls at week 4. A shared struggle would be like how I stayed in shape while traveling for 20 hours a month or 20 days a month. And proof would be like this client lost 40 pounds in 12 weeks. This is the full breakdown. A men's coach should say why high earners feel completely empty. Their during would be the identity shift most people quit before. Their shared would be the year I made 2 million and felt absolutely nothing. The proof would be how 12 weeks changed this client's entire life. An agency owner, the before would be why your ads aren't converting in 2026. The during would be how to scale past $100,000 a month without hiring more. The shared would be I almost shut down my agency in 2023. And the proof would be our $4 million ad spend breakdown, what works. And finally, a business coach, the before could be why you're stuck at under $50,000 a month. The during could be what to systemize after you hit $100,000 a month. The shared would be the week I almost quit everything I built. And the proof would be the Google Sheet I used to build a $25 million company, right? So you can see here, you can get dozens of topics and ideas that you're going to create from these 4 buckets. Now, I will just address something that a lot of people ask me whenever I walk through them, this with them. Well, aren't I going to be repeating a lot of the same stuff over and over again? And the truth is, you absolutely will be, okay? But your audience is not going to get tired of your messaging. You're going to get tired of your messaging way faster than your audience is, okay? If you look at my 400 plus videos, I have pretty much talked about the same 4 to 6 things for the past 5 years over and over and over and over again. And honestly, I'm kind of tired of talking about it. But I know that my audience isn't tired of hearing it because we're still generating calls and sales from this all the time, right? So just remember that you're always going to get tired of it before your audience does. And that's also why, not as a side note here, whenever I'm talking to people and they're like, hey, I run this agency for real estate, but I'm really passionate about fitness. Like, I want to build a brand. What should I do? I almost always try to say, well, what's your end goal? If it's to make a lot of money really quickly, probably just to scale the agency. If it's to build something you want to build for a long time that has a lot of value, it's probably going to have to be a transition at some point, because I can talk about this stuff every day. I can get on these free coaching calls called constraint calls on YouTube and film them every day because I love this. I love talking about it. And because of that, I can create content about it forever, even if it's repetitive. So now that we know what type of content to create, now let's go over into step 2, which is packaging is more important than value, right? So you have topics pulled directly from client conversations, but now the question is, how do you get the maximum amount of views on them? So packaging is the lever that we're going to use in order to do that. So the way that I like to explain packaging is that right topics get you in the room. So by talking about those things that we talked about in the last section, you're going to get in the room with the right people. So instead of talking about here's this lifestyle thing and you get this kid that's 15 years old who's not going to buy your stuff, you can talk about, hey, here's this advanced thing that only my client is going to enjoy. So you're getting the right people in the room. But packaging determines how many people are in the room when you're making that presentation. So what does packaging actually mean? Okay. Well, since you already know the topic, you just need to make it so that you create something that's irresistible for somebody else to click. And this in YouTube is the title and the thumbnail. This gets tested by YouTube against real users before anyone sees the video itself. So you're having, let's say, just for an example, 1% click-through rate, which is horrendous, but I'm not great at math. So if you have 100 impressions, YouTube shows this to 100 different people, a 1% click-through rate means only one person's actually going to watch the video. So you want to increase that. So if 100 people see this video, the opportunity to click on this video, you get 5 people instead of 1 people to click on it. So it's a huge leverage point for you. And it's something that I think a lot of people sleep on, okay? Packaging is the thing that took me from making videos that get sub 100 views, sub 500 views, to videos that get 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. I have videos that have over 500,000 views, right? Because I kind of figured out how this packaging game works, okay? And these are not hard and fast rules. But in general, I've noticed that a click-through rate below 4%, YouTube will stop distributing that because I'll explain why, but YouTube doesn't think it's worth their time. And above 6%, YouTube pushes it automatically. So the decision happens in under a second on the algorithm. You're not getting to be able to control it. Now, a lot of people wonder, why would the click-through rate below 4% mean that YouTube's going to stop pushing it? I always like to explain things in a first principles basis. So YouTube, what is YouTube trying to do? YouTube is trying to create a experience for the viewers that's so enjoyable that they stay on it for hours and they consume their videos that people watch ads of that YouTube gets paid from, right? That's what YouTube is. They're a business. That's the bottom game. They're not here to help you. They're here to make money. So if YouTube has an option of showing one video that has a click-through rate of 1% or this video that has a click-through rate of 8%, which one do you think it's going to show? It's probably going to show the 8% one because it knows that there's a higher chance someone's going to click on it, watch it, and they're going to get paid. So every 1% video that they're showing is an opportunity cost for YouTube where they're not going to make any money. So that's why eventually you'll see, if you have a low click-through rate, your views kind of taper off a little bit because YouTube's like, I'm not going to show this video to anybody else. I'm losing money every single time I show it. To drive the point home, it would be, as an example, you have an unlimited amount of clients that you can work with. You can either work with clients that pay you $10,000 or you can work with clients that pay you $100. It's the same amount of work. Which one would you do? Obviously, you do the $10,000 clients every single time, right? So that's what YouTube is thinking of as well. And just to kind of really drive this home of how powerful packaging is, this is actually my last video that I did on YouTube. And I launched the video, and because I've just studied YouTube for so long, I noticed that it was being pushed in the algorithm and it kept on getting more impressions, but it would just flatline after that. And you can kind of see it's doing better than my average, but I could tell that the YouTube algorithm really wanted to break out and show it to a lot of other people. And so when I analyzed the packaging, the title, and the thumbnail, I realized the thing that I think was really holding me back was the thumbnail. I thought the thumbnail was really weak, especially when I viewed it on dark mode on my computer. So what I did was I created a new thumbnail, and that circle right there is where I added the new thumbnail. And you can see almost immediately after I added the new thumbnail, it starts going up and to the right, like a quadratic growth, where right before that circle, it's almost a linear growth, right? So it kind of goes like this, and then I add the thumbnail and it goes like this, okay? And that is the power of packaging, because the truth is the content didn't change. This is the exact same video I had 2 seconds before that thumbnail change, and immediately I start getting more views. And because the topic is about the stuff that I know that's going to lead to more clients, which this one's about a funnel training, I know that leads to more client trust, then that one change that I just did, that packaging change, is probably going to net, 10 times the amount of clients it would have done otherwise. So that's a great example of how important packaging is on a video, okay? So you don't earn views with good content, you earn views with good packaging, and then you keep them with good content, okay? So let's talk about a little bit like some training around how to make good packaging. Well, we'll start with the title, since packaging is title and thumbnails. So title, you need to have 65 characters max. Why 65 characters? After 65 characters, it gets truncated, which means that you don't see any words past that, especially on mobile when you have a tiny little screen. So you can have more than 65 characters, but just know that the majority of people are never going to see what's past that. So you really want the meat and the potatoes, or the entire thing, to be in 65 characters or less. And you always want to pattern interrupt first, right? You want somebody to read it to be like, whoa, it kind of breaks them out of the trance of when they're scrolling through YouTube and clicking. And as a quick side note here, YouTube is the only platform that's what is known as point and click, meaning that Instagram and TikTok and all these other freaking talks and ticks, all of them, you just scroll on your phone and it just feeds you it like a little dopamine rat that you are, okay? YouTube, someone has to drag their little mouse and click on it and watch it, okay? So because of that, you have to earn this click that you wouldn't have to anywhere. But also because of that, that's why I think viewers are more valuable on YouTube than any other platform. So number one, lead with a pattern interrupt, counterintuitive, bold, or specific. So for example, one of my videos that I've done well recently, I quit social media and my business grew faster. The goal is to stop the scroll before they read anything else. So because I'm saying this counterintuitive thing, I didn't do social media and I made more money. Everyone's like, wait, I thought social media is for making more money. I was able to earn a lot of clicks, which ended up making that video a breakout video for me. Number two, add a specific proof anchor. Numbers, timelines, or dollar amounts build trust immediately. So for example, $12.5 million from YouTube beats how I made money from YouTube every single time. Specificity equals believability. Number three, imply a clear transformation. So the viewer should answer, what will I get in 1 second or less from reading the title? YouTube is now on easy mode for business owners, another breakout video for me. The transformation is implied immediately. Okay, YouTube's easy to do. I just need to figure out what the change was and how do I do it myself. first person beats second person. So how I went from $0 to $25 million outperforms how to go from $0 to $25 million. First person feels real and earned. Second person feels like a template anyone can write, especially with AI today, okay? So let me give you some examples of same topic, but completely different results. So a weak title would be like, how to get more clients using YouTube. It's generic, there's no proof anchor, no pattern interrupt, sounds like every other video on the topic, and YouTube's not gonna push it. YouTube is now on easy mode for business owners. This got me 20,000 views in the first week. Pattern interrupt saying easy mode, specific audience call out. I said business owners, and counterintuitive. It says that what was hard is now easy. So I need to now learn what the change was. And that's why the algorithm put 83% of browse behind it, which I'll talk about what that means here in a little bit, okay? Another example is asking millionaire business owners their number one lead gen strategy. So I'm borrowing credibility. So I called up a bunch of my business owner friends and I said, hey, what's the best way to generate clients? So I'm talking to business owners about a specific problem, lead gen strategy, and I'm saying that they're millionaires, so I'm adding that credibility inside of that, okay? Now, outside of title, you have thumbnail. And those are 3 seconds. You have 120 pixels. And the entire test is essentially what this thumbnail does that makes them click. And the important thing, even though I did title first, is a thumbnail is always gonna be the thing that people see first, right? It takes up the most real estate. So when they're scrolling, they see the thumbnail and then they're immediately gonna read the title and then they're gonna click on the video. So this might even be more important than a title. So number one, you need a pattern interrupt visually. So you want high contrast, unexpected elements, or an expression that makes people stop. A bold diagram or infographic thumbnail consistently outperforms a talking head one for educational content. When I looked at all of my 415 videos, all of the videos where I'm showing like a diagram or an iPad drawing or something like that, all outperformed any of like the special words or fancy before and afters that I had, which is always funny to me because those are the easiest ones to make. I just screenshot a part of the video and I throw it up there, right? So that's what's easy is now actually the best thing for YouTube, which I love for business owners. Number two, you want your face close and expressive. So faces consistently outperform text-only thumbnails. So you want to fill the frame when you can. So a small figure in the corner performs far worse than a face taking up 40 to 60% of the image. So I see a lot of people making videos where they're like this tiny little thing in the bottom left-hand corner. You should be taking up at least the whole bottom quadrant if you can, because what you're doing is you're building credibility and brand awareness with your face. The more people see your face, they immediately think, okay, that face equals value. That face equals I'm having my problem solved. Let me click on that face. And you want the expression of the face to match the promise. I can't stand it when I see somebody that's like, the most insane thing I learned ever, and the person's face is like this, right? It's really this, right? That's how it is, okay? And I know you're gonna feel cheesy, and I get it, but you have to exaggerate. You have to exaggerate in the images, or people aren't gonna understand it. It's the same reason why people on TV shows and movies and in news sets wear makeup, because it helps exaggerate the features so people can watch it at home, okay? Number three, 5 words or fewer of text. So if you have 120 pixels on a phone, anything longer than 5 words is unacceptable, okay? So the thumbnail should reinforce the title, not restate it. So if somebody sees the thumbnail and it says the exact text in the title and then they click the look at the title, it says the exact same thing, you're not really like, it's not interesting enough. You're wasting space. Where if they, for example, they look at my thumbnail where this is insane diagram of a sales funnel that people can understand immediately from the thumbnail, and they read down and it says the most valuable funnel training you'll ever watch, those things complement each other. It's not that I just put my face and then I said the most valuable funnel training you ever watched. Nobody's going to click on that, okay? So the title creates curiosity and the thumbnail confirms its credibility. So they work as a system, so you want to design them together, never separately. And the nice thing is that even if you upload it and it's not working out, you can change one of them after the first 24 or 48 hours, and the algorithm will adjust accordingly. So step number 3 is strategic video types. So not all videos serve the same purpose, and knowing which type to make and when is what separates channels that plateau from channels that compound. So let me just walk through the different video types and their purpose inside of it. Number 1 is going to be browse. So these are algorithm push to cold audiences. You don't need any subscribers to make this happen. And this builds your brand the fastest. And this, I think, should be the majority of the videos that you create, is trying to get caught in this browse algorithm. The second is going to be suggested. So this is going to be placed next to your competitors and your own videos. And this is warm, pre-qualified audience, and this should be about 25% of your output. So for example, right now, if you're watching this video, I'd say there's like an 8 out of 10 chance that you see another one of my videos on the right-hand side right here. And that is intentional. If that's the case, comments banana down below so that everybody that clicks on this video is like, why is everybody commenting banana down below? And they have to watch the video to find out. But comment banana down below if you do see at least one of my videos on the right-hand side. That's what's known as suggested videos. And if you can do that correctly, there's a strategy behind it, then you get this binge watching experience that leads to more clients. The next is what's known as search. So this is keyword driven and very evergreen. So this keeps on getting views for years. And this is tutorials and how-to formats. Now, this is only 15% of your videos. And a lot of people are shocked about this. Like, oh, wouldn't you want to rank number one? The problem is a lot of how-to videos, you're getting people that want a how-to use ClickUp, how to use Asana. I'm like number one on a lot of these things. But the problem is just because they want to use ClickUp or Asana doesn't mean they're my ideal avatar. And it's hard to kind of show that they can pay me for this huge expertise system building when I'm just showing them like, hey, here's ClickUp and here's how to, this is a video that they could watch for free online. So it's a little bit ironic because a lot of other content creators tell you go search heavy. But if you look at all my videos, my number one videos are search in my early days because I didn't have somebody like me telling me the difference between the benefits of search versus the benefits of browse, okay? And if you're just starting on YouTube, 100% browser, just go crazy on it for the first 20 to 50 videos so you can really start being promoted by the algorithm and getting clients almost from zero. So let's go deeper on browse. So browse is where you can get the algorithm to push your videos to total strangers before you have a single subscriber. So what makes a video browse worthy? No prior context needed. So you don't want to make a video where the packaging or the content of the video requires this person to have consumed previous content of yours. Counterintuitive or bold hook in the first 15 seconds. Strong personal authority signal. So you are the reason that they click. So for example, a lot of times it's more difficult to have a video be browse worthy if you don't have credibility in the title or in the video. So like if I was just starting out, I had no clients, I had no money, it'd be really hard to be in a browse thing because it's like, why should anybody listen to this? Where let's say I'm a fitness coach and I have never made a YouTube video, but I've been doing fitness training for the last 20 years. I could say something like, what I learned after coaching 10,000 fitness clients, and then it's this photo of me absolutely shredded on it. That's going to have a personal authority signal. And this works as a complete standalone piece. So it's not part of a series. I don't have to watch different videos in order to have the context around it, okay? So real examples of traffic source breakdowns. YouTube is now on easy mode for business owners, 83% browse. Asking Millionaire business owners, the number one lead gen source, 82% browse. The most valuable funnel training, 74% browse, okay? So these are all individual things that people can see and understand that this is going to be the entire thing they need in one video without having additional context, okay? So the pattern across every top performing video, counterintuitive premise, a real story, and specific data. The algorithm rewards it because viewers finish watching the video, okay? So like I said, 60% of your videos should at least be browse. The second type of video, second and third, is suggested and search. So these are people who are already looking in some form or the other for the topic of this video that you're creating, okay? So suggested videos is kind of your secret organic retargeting. So YouTube places your video next to competitor videos when topics overlap, so you're getting reach from competitors' audiences. So for example, this video right here about YouTube, somebody else might have made another video about like how to title your YouTube videos. So it's a short video, how to title YouTube videos. Well, then if YouTube thinks that someone's going to watch that video and then want to see this full training because they know that they're a business owner, they'll put me in the top right of this. So I don't have to combat everybody else in the browse, the holy grail of YouTube and on the front page of discovery. If I can just hijack this traffic from somebody else's video, then I can get these really quality buyers. YouTube also places your videos next to your own videos. So someone watches one and sees another one of yours immediately after. That's organic retargeting. I have that down to a science. An example is the only blank that you'll ever need, or stop doing blank, do this instead. So stop doing YouTube videos, do this instead would be a perfect suggested video for somebody watching YouTube videos, okay? So hopefully you understand how that works for suggested videos. And then for search videos, this is compound interest, right? So you can have evergreen videos that you make in 2021 that's still booking calls in 2026. Now, I always hear this like argument of Instagram versus YouTube. I'm gonna lay it to rest right now. Instagram peaks in 48 hours. So you take time to make an Instagram reel, it's gone in 48 hours. YouTube, I have YouTube videos that still generate 2,000 to 3,000 views every single day that I posted in 2021, 2022. Okay. So 1 hour of my time, 5 years ago, still generating us leads, calls, and clients today. Okay. So this is almost always how to do a specific thing in a specific time frame, how to use ClickUp, how to use Asana, the 8 ways we use Zapier inside of my business. These are all very how-to videos, but we want to be careful not making this the majority of the stuff because, like I said before, it can get clients, but the percentage of viewers to clients is way lower than it would be on browse videos or suggested videos. So every search video you post today is still working for you in 2028. Every Instagram post you make today is gone by Thursday. Okay. So what the data actually shows. So this is after analyzing 48 of my most recent YouTube videos. And what I figured out was that the format of the video matters more than production, meaning that I'm not necessarily so focused on like, okay, let me have the best camera, the best background, the best all this stuff. It is how I'm displaying the information in that video that actually determined more about whether this video is going to generate clients. Once again, I'm not talking about views. I'm not talking about brand awareness. The videos that generated calls and clients for my company. So slide presentations like this one has the best click-through rate and conversion rate from viewer to clients. This is hands down, it wasn't even close. These presentations like the one I'm doing right here, the one I did last time, people love this stuff. I think it's just because it's just like this full training and they get everything end to end. It's very well presented. I'm going to do more of this forever. The second type is screen shares, demos, or walkthroughs. And so this is more like me sharing my screen, me drawing on an iPad, stuff that's a little bit more free flow. This I think has better average watch time because I can actually do those videos a little bit shorter than I do these videos because I'm kind of just like in a flow, I'm talking, I can talk about something really quickly. I don't have to package it up and do a lot of research, where this video took me a couple hours even just to create for you. But my hope is those couple of hours are gonna be rewarded because it's gonna be pushed way harder in the browse algorithm. Talking head, this is good, when I just sit down and talk to the camera, but this is gonna be a very small percentage of the videos that I make because first of all, it requires equipment. So if you just have a talking head with something ugly in the background or whatever, it's going to be very difficult unless the thing you're talking about is unbelievably valuable. And also talking head by itself, it's like anybody can make a talking head and just talk and talk and talk and talk, where putting pen to paper, drawing what you're talking about, illustrating, it allows people to consume this information and learn it in a way that they wouldn't otherwise. Okay. And then there's repurposed clips. I don't even do this on my main YouTube channel anymore. I tested this out for a while where I just took clips from podcasts I was on, clips from, events that I spoke at, and I just put it on YouTube, and it had the worst click-through rate, the worst watch time, and the worst conversion rate. Okay, so another big question I get all the time is how often do you post? And so instead of me telling you what you should do or shouldn't do, I just looked at all of our posting frequencies of the last 5 years, and I corresponded it with all of our booked calls directly attributed to YouTube to figure out when we should post, how often we should post, and is there any benefits to posting more? So 0 videos a week is the baseline. 1 video a week, we had a 90% lift in qualified book calls. Now, some of you might be looking at that like 90% lift from what? Well, for me, even if I post 0 videos a week, I have 415 YouTube videos that are still being pushed every single day. But if I just added 1 video a week on top of that, it would literally double the amount of book calls that we got. If I did 2 videos a week, it would add an additional 25% to that 90%. So that's really still powerful because at our volume, and what each call is worth to us, an additional 25% is meaningful. But then when I saw the weeks I did 3 videos a week, it was an additional 12%. And I don't think it was worth the additional work or complexity for me. So for me, I'm pretty much sticking to 2 videos a week. At the very bare minimum, I'm doing 1 video a week. And so I recommend most people just do 1 video a week for 90 days. You're going to be way more likely to stay consistent with it if you do that versus trying to batch 3 videos a week for 3 months in the future, okay? And a B- video published every week beats an A+ video sitting in your drafts forever, all right? And then step 4. So we talked about the actual topics of the video. We talked about packaging the video. We talked about how the algorithm pushes your video. And now let's talk about how do we take people from the YouTube platform to your actual offer, your video sales letter, your funnel, anything like that. So great content builds an audience. The no pitch converts that audience into clients without ever feeling like a sales video. So why does YouTube convert, in my opinion, better than any other platform? Well, personal trust is at its lowest point in the last 40 years. And Google came out with a study and a survey that showed that in the last, so why does YouTube convert better than any other platform out there? Well, personal trust, so person-to-person trust, is at the lowest point in the last 40 years. And Google recently came out with a study where they showed that on average, it takes 7 hours of brand exposure or content to turn a stranger into a buyer. And so YouTube is the only platform where someone can do this organically on their own without you having to pay a dime or you being involved whatsoever and accumulate that 7 hours in a relatively short time period. I know my freaking TikTok and Instagram people are going to freak out because they do that every time on me. Oh, you can still do 7 hours of content on Instagram. Yeah. Okay. But take a 60-second reel, divide that into 7 hours and see how many reels this person has to watch of you before they're ready to move forward. Or take some of my 30-minute videos and hour-long videos and see how many of those they have to watch before they have to move forward. Okay. So the nice thing about YouTube is that the buyer who books a call has already watched you for hours, and so they arrive pre-sold. And another really big benefit of YouTube, and this is something that it's going to be really relevant to the people that are watching this that run ads like myself, is that it works really well middle of funnel. So you can send high intent prospect from your ads to your YouTube channel so that they arrive to the sales calls warm, not cold. So for example, you could have it in an email sequence. You could have it on your thank you page. You could even have it embedded on your video sales letter page. You could send it in the pre-call messaging sequence. You could have it in a follow-up message. All of these are ways that you can use YouTube to build trust with your audience, okay? And the nice thing is, ads you have to pay for every single day, but if you can get them from ads to watch at least one YouTube video, now YouTube has them in your algorithm and is going to push your videos to them as long as they continue to watch it. Show rates will go up, close rates go up, cost per call drops without changing a single thing about your funnel. So the goal isn't to replace your funnel with YouTube. The goal is to make every single step of your funnel convert better because of it, okay? So what is the no pitch pitch? How do we get somebody from watching the video to actually becoming a client? Well, in the first 15 seconds of the video, you need to have hook and authority. A bold statement that earns attention plus a one-line credential that earns trust. For example, I built 2,000 funnels across 48 industries. Here's the one thing they get all wrong. Or in this video, I said something like, this will be the most valuable funnel training you've ever watched. I've generated over $12.5 million from YouTube and analyzed 1,400 videos. Boom, on to the first thing right away. Number two, pain clarity. Name their exact frustration in their own words. When they think this person gets this, the sale is already done. If you've watched my other videos about sales or my video about the sales funnel, you want your prospects to think that you know their problem better than they do. That's why they're paying you money and they see you as an expert, okay? So for example, in fitness, you're doing everything right and the scale isn't moving. In agency, you're getting leads, but nobody's closing. So these are pulled directly from the sales calls that we got from the Content Prism. Number three, the aha moment. This is your unique insights. A new frame for why the problem exists in the first place. Not a tutorial on how to fix it, but a way of seeing the problem that they'd never heard of before. This is the mechanism. So an example of this would be like how I'm talking about how you need to not be a content creator, but you need to become a entrepreneur. Another example would be like how I said that the easiest thumbnails to make, just the ones of showing, like screen sharing, what I'm showing on the screen and putting there as a thumbnail, those are the ones that actually perform the best for us. So these are like unique things to be like, oh my God, I never thought of that. Once again, this is you earning their trust and them seeing you as an expert. Proof, so client results, your own data, case study breakdown. I just showed you where I changed my thumbnail and it immediately shot the algorithm of the browse algorithm up. Now you trust me more, you're more willing to look at me. And the natural next step. So not click below, like, so you don't have to say like, buy my stuff, right? It says, if this resonates with you and you will see how this applies to your situation, click the link below if it's the right step. And it converts because it doesn't feel like a pitch. So it's very simple, and I'm gonna talk about it in a second, to naturally, organically drop pitches in here. For example, right now, if you want me to review your marketing and sales system so I can figure out what's working and what's not working, you can go down below and book a free revenue system diagnostic with our team, right? That's okay, yeah, I'm making a pitch, but I don't think a lot of you feel like this feels slimy or slimy or scammy that they're doing it, okay? And when it comes to call to action, we actually tested this, so this is very interesting. Most people put calls to action where nobody watches. Number one, you need an early call to action in the first 90 seconds. This is so funny because we were concerned about if we put this early on, we're gonna have a huge drop off in the retention, but we saw almost no drop off on retention, but a serious increase in number of booked calls when we say in the very beginning, if you wanna work with us, go down below and book a call to speak with us, right? And then organic mention is going to be in the middle somewhere. So when you reference a client's result or a case study, so, oh yeah, by the way, this is exactly what we do for clients. So I'm not saying go down below and book a call to speak with us. I'm just saying like, and here's this client who had this YouTube video really take off, and they were able to do that because of what we showed them, and I move on to the next thing. So I'm implicitly saying they got this result because of me, and if you want the result, you should work with me as well. And then, of course, the end is the full CTA. So these are the people that have made it to the very end. They are the most qualified. give them the full pitch. Don't be afraid to spend 30 or 45 seconds on your pitch, because these people are really close to be able to book a call to speak with you. And so you can go through what they should do, what happens on the call, what they'll walk away with, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the highest intent people in your audience. So how this all fits together is YouTube isn't a platform, it's the engine of everything, in my personal opinion. So YouTube video, you can have top or middle of funnel to build trust at scale. It satisfies the 7-hour rule automatically. It works whether someone finds you organically or you send them from a paid ad to build trust before they book. The second way you can use YouTube is in email and retargeting. So every new video you create, you can blast it to your email list, and they're going to click on it, watch it, and that's going to lead to a lot of them booking calls. If you're doing email marketing right now and every email is like case study, social proof, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, YouTube is a nice way to break that up, where you can say, oh, hey, check out this video. They go to that video and it acts as a mini video sales letter for them to book a call to speak with you. Another way you can leverage YouTube, and I suggest every single person, even if you have a low ticket funnel, a challenge, or webinar funnel, have a video sales letter page attached to your YouTube channel. Because some people use YouTube to get like low ticket products or school members, but you got to think, these people are spending hours with you watching videos. And instead of using the same thing that you use for cold ads, like a low ticket funnel or challenges or something like that, you can literally just send them directly to a calendar or send them to a page where you say, hey, here's what we do. Here's how we help people, book a call to speak with us. Because these people are so warm that if you're putting too much friction in front of them, they might end up not becoming clients when they would have otherwise. Finally, YouTube is predictable compounding revenue. The more videos you make, the more trust you create. The more trust you create, the more calls you generate. The more calls you generate, the more clients you get. The more clients you get, the better proof you have. The better proof you have, the better content you have. It's a flywheel that accelerates itself over and over and over again, which is why I'll be using YouTube until the cows come home. So just to recap, the full system, 4 steps, 1 sustainable client acquisition machine. Number 1 is the content prism, where you mine your sales calls to figure out what topics you're going to own in your prospect's mind. Number 2 is the packaging. You work backwards to forwards. Once you figure out what topics resonate, then you package it well to get as many views on that as possible. The video types. So don't just make any video that you want to. Don't just focus only on search or just focus only on browse. The best channels we've seen has a mixture of all of them. And then the no pitch pitch. You want to make sure that you can go through the YouTube video providing value, but also eventually converting a certain percentage of those viewers into booked calls, okay? And just to recap, if you already have some YouTube videos out there, for us, posting at least 1 time a week doubles the amount of book calls that we get from YouTube. For us, the highest click-through rate and client acquisition came from your simple slide format videos. And if you post on YouTube, it'll last for years versus on social media where it lasts for 24 hours to 48 hours. And if you want us to audit your marketing and sales system totally for free, go down below and book a revenue system diagnostic with me or my team. We're gonna look at all of your numbers, your marketing and sales process, audit what we think the constraint is, lay out a plan that we would do in order to solve that constraint in typically 2 to 3 steps. And then you can decide at the end of it if you want to take it and do it on your own, or if you want to work with us, we'll do it for you, done for you. See you guys in the next video.